moved in with my best friend for to save some money. She, so anyway, so I'm saving some money with her, but then my plan is to move back to the west side.
What is it? Oh, to Carolina. She's in the goldenrod sweater. Goldenrod poet.
Right behind the airport. Oh yeah?
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear you.
On the microphone or just my voice?
I'm more on like wet.
Can everyone hear me now?
I can hear you, but I don't know if it's on the mic.
Is it the mic page?
Yeah, so we're on both of us.
I see it's registering barely.
I lived I-10.
Hello. I think it's on. Can you guys hear me on here? On the microphone? Okay.
Well,
Sort of, kinda, maybe. Maybe it's low.
yeah, you can be bumped up a little bit.
Bump. Let's, I'm gonna find the bottom. Bump.
My niece was up.
It's working, I see the lights going on, and maybe my class is on.
My best friend was like, just move with me for a bit.
So we are live streaming on something called Ustream.
You're awesome.
My channel is called Poetry Events in San Antonio. You should be able to watch us live as of right now. I shared it on Facebook, but I have it locked in case I turn on the camera and it's like, pointed somewhere it shouldn't be, kind of thing. So I like make sure before I share it. But if you guys search Ustream under Poetry Events in San Antonio, you should be able to find it. And we're live right now. Welcome to Poetry Heights. I'm Victoria Valenzuela. This is Vincent Cooper. This is our third event here at Sabina's Coffee House, and we thank you greatly for joining us. Spreading the word about us on Facebook is a good idea. We have a webpage, a fan page on. Sorry. We're live. Okay. Cool. Thank you. We have a fan page on Facebook. It's called Poetry Heights, and tonight we have three feature poets. That's Dr. Octavio Quintanilla, Rusty Martinez, and Carolina Hinojosa Cisneros. I'm going to turn the mic over to Vincent Cooper.
Hello everybody, thank you so much for coming out tonight. I'm very excited about these poets that are reading tonight. But I think they pulled the rock star card on me because I've asked for their bios, and every poet that we've asked has not given their bio. So this is the third show, so then I'm forced to come up with something I feel about them. So throughout the night, we'll introduce them the way we want to introduce them. But, excuse me. Like we start off every show, I will read a poem, which is pretty rare, but now I'm getting used to this weekly thing. This is a poem called Molting, and I'd like to read it to you now. I've never read this out loud. Molting. Year 35 has gone brackish, salty over the deaths of Bowie and Prince, even as we've salted and swallowed our son Vincent. This year was a time of past miseries not wanting to die, and those who were miserable wanted to die and to be forgotten. I do not let them. When Victoria and I kiss, there is glossy sweetness. Our hearts pump hard in unison. We look into mirrors, not recognizing our own faces. Individually, overwhelmingly, we two are in love. We chew on the air of our love, ingesting the drug of us, even as bills pile up. We owe thousands. Debt persists the present. Through the bay window, we watch our children play. In the backyard, Johnny or Olivia strums a guitar to Elias, Darby, and Vincent, who joyfully run, high-five, and hug them. Dinner in a cast iron pan simmers on low heat. We place the foreclosure notices and letters to appear in court on top of the microwave for now. She says she wants to put roots down. and wonders how I'm going to save our family, our home. We never got the chance to be who we once were, defiant, reckless, and stunning. Our kids laugh and smile at us, press their noses against the window, blow kisses. We are on the cusp of losing it all. Blue jays and cardinals pray over our garden. They bring good omens, clarity, the vitality of children. We are molting. Thank you. So I'm very excited to have one of our features here up here. I've only heard her read once, but she is a badass, and I've just been waiting for this. So from what I know about Catalina, she's been published in Acentos Review and many other journals and magazines. So without further ado, Ms. Catalina.
I hope I can live up to that. Thank you. Thank you. So I started writing poetry in middle school, angst, from a very dark place. Fast forward 2013, I gave my life to Christ and I started writing from a very different place. And that place that I started writing from started revealing to me different things about where we are in our culture and where we are as far as fighting for each other and how Jesus would want us to fight for our equality, social justice. So I'm in a ministry currently, and it's a very lonely journey because I write about social justice, I write about Jesus, and I'm the only Latina that is doing that in the platform that I'm in, and there's hundreds of women in this ministry. So it's really hard to carve a voice in that. So I'm really trying, and I'm going with it. So tonight, I'm gonna read you a new poem that I wrote recently, very recently. It's called Still Waiting on My America. This is your America, but not your America. I'm still waiting on my America, the one where women don't have to march against the establishment, the one where Black Lives Matter and people understand why. This is your America, but not your America. I'm still waiting on my America, the one where men don't entertain locker room talk because they use their words to promote female identity, the one where my immigrant family isn't treated like pump jacks and are paid a living wage. This is your America, but it's not your America. I'm still waiting on my America, the one where the president is the voice of the people, where religious freedom is standard practice, where I can pray with my Muslim friend to the same God, and my America won't separate us by the violence it created to keep us asleep. My second poem is called How Amazing is Grace. How amazing is grace, she met me where the tender flesh bit the sharp, sterile paperclip I used to scrape the skin from my wrists. How amazing is grace, she masticated my broken, spit it out where I was not welcome, and took the pit of my avocado stomach, planted it in the flesh of the tierra. How amazing is grace that I can watch my own branches grow toward heaven.
Let me move the mic because it's not registering.
Okay. Can you still hear me?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, good boy. It carries.
Okay. I was born Catholic, and then later my grandparents changed religions like 5 times, and so we were no longer Católicos. So a lot of the memories I have, I sort of interweave that into, I think all religions are interweaved, so I kind of interweave them both. This one is based loosely on a true story of my grandmother who lives in Cuautitlan Izcalli. So she just recently came and we spent her birthday with her. Return to Texas. In tears and on bended knee, Abuela makes her way up the steps. La Catedral de Cuautitlan, knees, skin, her dress catches on the wounds. The Virgin Mary brings great miracles when you pray to her. When you make a sacrifice, you can carry. We came here when Tia Alma ran away from home. Abuela promised if Tia Alma came home, she'd cut off all of her Yaputec hair. In prayer, she walked on her knees for a mile. Alma returned 2 days later, her whereabouts blistered at the ends of our sentences. My aunt ran away, and so her name was not Alma. My step-grandmother promised that she would walk on her knees, and I think it was longer than a mile, to get into the cathedral if the Virgin would bring back my aunt. And she did end up coming back. I'm gonna read one that was published recently in the Acentos Review this past year, 2016. So my stepfather, he immigrated from Mexico. He came on the bottom of a train. And he always told us the stories of him and his brothers coming underneath trains. And I never understood how you could get from Mexico to San Antonio holding on and not falling asleep. Some people did fall asleep and they fell and they were killed by the train. Anyway, he made it, and we always worried that he would be deported back. And he had already had my brother and sister with my mom, and so it was a really hard place. It was scary to be in. So this is also loosely based on that. It's called Fuga, Take Flight. I can tell you what I'm not wearing. I'm not wearing the hand-carved cedar rosary gifted to me by my mother on my 12th birthday. When I reach up to grab from my neck a prayer bead to roll between my fingers, I find nothing but my sweaty collarbone. I know then I will be caught and deported. I nervously rummage through my jean pockets, nearly melted from the desert sun, rummage through my breast pocket marinated in dirt, sweat forms small blisters of lodo on my chest. I want to Holy Mary my mother's rosary back into existence. My prayers fall around me like bright marbles of misfortune, immediately giving me away. You! The border patrol points me out from between the brush. Come here! I run hard and fast. My sister is on the other side of the border. My legs tighten. I continue to gallop forward, sin parar. I don't stop. I imagine the gun draw tears like rivers carve their way down my face through skin and earth. A shot is fired. There's a tightening in my chest. My tattered fear hangs on the barbed wire. I dive underneath. My throat becomes a hollow conduit. I gasp for air. I hear La Migra's footsteps behind me. Another shot fired. Dirt begins to cut my eyes. My chest tightens. My knees buckle. My entire body lunges forward. My hands reach toward the sky. My face hits the dirt with such force that rocks lodge themselves in my mouth and I break my teeth. I cannot move. The eagle lets out a cry that reminds me of our old house in San Antonio, al otro lado, where we were Americans. The warmth in my chest mangles me. I begin to reason that I will not survive. The Border Patrol's knee plants itself near my head, his voice inaudible. His shadow smothers me. My vision politely excuses himself. The air around me swells with the absence of sound. Thank you. I have little tiny mini booklets of poetry if you're interested. Everything that I read is in here, and then there's an extra one. It's only $1 donation. I do keep a running blog at cisneroscafe.com. It's a faith-based blog, and once in a while you'll see that I'll link up social justice pieces that I write out for Amity Coalition and for Mudroom, and they've sort of, they've taken me in like, yes, you can totally talk about that. So, thank you, I appreciate y'all.
Oh, that was awesome. Thank you, Carolina, so much. We appreciate it. I'm going to read another poem because I can't get enough of myself here. But wait, what? Oh, that's very rude of me. I'm sorry, Victoria is ready to read. I will put this back. Victoria Valenzuela is published everywhere. She's a mother of 6. She's awesome.
I wrote a little, it's hard to know where to begin because I've been so angry since election night and inauguration night. I can't even speak. So I've been writing a lot. I've been just pissed off, and my Facebook statuses are all up yours and up his too, and all the things. So I wrote this thing. I don't think it's a poem. I think it's just my anger, my message. Riot like your blood is boiling. That filthy manimal running the country into the gutter publicly abuses his wife. You saw her biting back her vomit as he spoke to her. You saw his rigid posture twittering like a slap in the face as he turned from her, so proud of himself. Her smile radiated absolute hatred. What did he say to her? What did he say to bust her grin down to a grimace before it collapsed from her narrow-lipped expression, suffocated, dispirited? That monster has ordered the slaughter of millions with his signature on orders to destroy all the clean water in America. Ignoring the wishes of any person that isn't completely Caucasian, identified as male. And now China has long-range nuclear bombs ready to visit the United States. Russia laughs. I hold my grin to save face, biting back the sickness. I refuse to post its image or say its name. Instead, I make friends with neighbors. Each one teach one, I heard during Katrina. Each one teach one. We are merely in the darkness of a womb. And last night, something beautiful happened. Our sweet friends, Carolina and Erasmo, and their new baby, Brooklyn, came to rescue Vinny and I. We were stranded with a busted radiator hose and about to hire a lift. Carolina said, "No, we're coming. Just go with it, Mama. Stay put." We waited. They came and we had some ice cream and great conversation. We visited with the babies. We talked about all the things. I love this. Real human life interaction, care for one another. I feel enlightened and cared about. I seek to impart this feeling with all my neighbors. I hope you will join us in this kind of love riot. Who are your friends? Who are you a friend to? Get together. Talk about the world. Each one teach one. We are merely in the darkness of a womb.
It's really weird because we live together. I don't even know when she wrote that. Maybe when I was making breakfast or something.
Hey! Could have been.
Right. So Victoria and I are very fond of this handsome young man, Brewster Martinez. He runs the Blah Blah Poets. Now at what? 3 blocks?
3 blocks. Yeah.
Blah Blah Poets.
Blah, blah, blah.
No, it's just Blah Blah Poets.
That's just 1 block.
1 block. The Mandela effect. It is. I swear I saw it in Blah Blah. It's the government. So, yes. We're huge fans of Brewster. I've heard him read a couple times and he always brings it. He can get a ruckus going. So we're very happy that he's here tonight. He'll tell you a little bit more about what he's got going on. Brewster. Give it up.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. How are you? Good. Y'all can, hello world. The world says hi. So the theme for tonight was Love Riot. I wasn't 100% sure if that meant I should do love poems and riot poems or just like call all my exes and get in a fight. So I'm gonna just do an odd collection of poems that I have here. This is after a poet who I admire named Hanif Willis Abdul-Rahim. This is called 1995 in San Antonio. 1995, before the streetlights turned on and dealers hid from broad day, preferred doing dirt after dusk drapes our neighborhoods like the plastic covers on couches. Every kid on the west side then wanted to be Vinny Del Negro. Forgot the NBA player stands 6'4" while most of us never grow past 5'7". But he looked like us. Hoop dreams became so stunning, kids played all summer long hoping for a game-winning shot, but then the movie Friday came out, and like a weekend in summer, it confused us. Anyone who saw the film couldn't discern the truth from fiction. We died laughing. Historically, tears varnished the truth in our comedy. Who hasn't lost a job around here? Idle is every day and the world keeps spinning. On the face of this earth, it's hard to know if you're moving or not. So kids who couldn't grow into NBA dreams opted out, became big worm instead. Neighborhood basketball slowly deflated. Then the street lights came on and less of us went home. Stopped watching the NBA altogether. Watched the world drive by while cocaine like street lights bright lit up the block all night. Tonight, my cousin is in love with something new. The spike makes her higher than herself, lets her love herself for once. And once, Grandma said all you need is love and to believe in something higher than yourself. But Nicole pricked her skin and God came through. I think she was confused. Tonight, who needs daylight? Our best years might already be behind us, and the mayhem is in full swing. Who needs direction in a labyrinth? School? Who needs books if everything is on fire? Senora quit yelling herself hoarse, trying to get these kids indoor after the street lights glow. That time when nothing good ever happens, and people become the smoke they choke to death on. And I document everything my eyes weren't too afraid to see. And I recall every lost apology my cousin gave when things came up missing. And I miss her, and I'm sorry. And to this day, I still want to sink a game-winning shot and say, I'm from right here. So, growing up, as we all tend to do as human beings, I was a military kid. My family is generations and generations of West Siders here in San Antonio, so this was always my home whenever we were in transit or in between places, which we frequently were. I moved back here like 15 years ago, and I've lived here ever since, and I love it. I love San Antonio. It's one of my cities. One of the things I'm lucky enough to do is through poetry. I've become the writer in residence at Lanier High School, where I workshop with the youth. Thank you. And sometimes they annoy the hell out of me because they don't listen. And it's hard. Today was a hard day where you literally want to hurt other people's children. But you can't because of laws. This is a poem for a student I actually had last year. Yeah, he was a pain. Julio. I stand in the front of the classroom. Julio proudly hails from the back of the classroom his conquered territory where I promise you can dip him in lacquer, leave him laminated, a testament to future flunkies who will reside in the same spot. See, it's then in the middle of my lesson when Julio's breath vibrates something against poetry, just loud enough to reach my ears, and my eyes become laser beams, and his posture becomes a Jolly Roger when he notices that I notice, and while all the other students have spilled ink and tears, I want nothing more than to make an example out of this kid, to mount his grin like big game on my wall, but I don't. My pride is big enough to kill us both, and folly finds fools and kings alike, so I swallow this burning meteorite of things I really want to say, and I just write in black letters on the whiteboard the question, what do you want out of this life? Now, my question meets minds, it meets hands, it meets sky, but I am seeking the only one still stationary and scared. I say, Julio, you back there, what about you? He grimaces, he shrugs, he is a slug in salt, he says, I don't know. I ask him, is there anything about life you enjoy? He says, I guess so. I swear to God, to get any reaction from this kid, I'd slit my own throat where I'm standing, but I know it wouldn't work. Julio doesn't believe in me like he doesn't believe in most authority, and why should he? We made Julio into a fish that we will see as stupid because he can't climb trees, but he doesn't swim too great either. He'd have drowned by now if it weren't for tired teachers that floated him along this long. I'm here to ask the questions no one thought to ask in the first place because I don't want to see any of them rot like ruined fruit on the ground in South Texas. I swear, I'm no one's savior. But I wake up every day to find a fearless leader in all this afraid. But this kid is trying my patience when I might be the last person in his life who tries practicing patience because somewhere there are handcuffs and cold statistics waiting for his name to cross their threshold. Heads that will shake and judge when he at best meets the low standards they set. But when he wants more from this life but doesn't know how can we expect him to be anything better than what he cannot imagine? And all he's been asked to imagine by this point is another wall, another brick, another lesson of untethered rhetoric that doesn't matter, as well-meaning as it is if it fails to inspire. So I chew on the question I pose, and with the next 50 plus years looking back at me, I tell them, this isn't a test, but it is. You don't get many chances to grow on your own, but if you do, grab the moon. Don't act so cool as to grin in the face of gravity. More often than not, gravity gets the last laugh. But if you are the last star in the sky, after all the rest, we won't notice you because you're shining the brightest, but we'll see you because you were the one who got left behind. Side note, y'all should get coffee because the coffee here is really delicious. Shout out to Sabina's Coffee House. So this is actually two poems that I'm going to try and weave together. These are some older pieces that I've done. What kind of got me into slam poetry was, actually I like to do the poems and I guess y'all can figure it out. This is a true story. This was about a day I was meeting my girlfriend, and she had no idea that I was even within earshot. But as I was almost to the meeting place that she had designated, I saw her speaking with a stranger, and he was asking her what someone so beautiful would be doing standing all by herself. But she responded back to him with a brush-off shrug and a grin, as punk rock as she's ever been. She told him, "I'm waiting on my man." Kind of like the Velvet Underground song. And I'll admit, my heart jumped a bit like it did the first time I heard that tune. So when you mix that with the setting of a beautiful day, you'll get the picture, because it was our day and no one else's. So the stranger takes his cue to leave like Morrissey. But like Suede Head, I want to approach her with those lyrics on my lips and apologize for no real wrongdoing. I just want to tell her she's been better than any song I could ever allude to, but didn't get to sing any of that jazz, because before she caught that I caught the dialogue, she spotted me and my record player skipped. So we raised our invitation flags of smiles. And I lower my head like I usually do around pretty girls, even if I've seen them naked. And we've exchanged faces our mothers don't want to know that we made, but see, she's crazy, because before we're even at arm's length, she's reaching for my hand. She catches it like the game-winning out of the World Series, causing me to shake my head, and she's like, "What?" And all I can say is, "You." But it was our day and no one else's, so we played it like your favorite tune. We incinerated it from both ends with no fear. It played fast, like a System of a Down song, but long, as days can be if you really want them that way. If I could describe it, it probably was like the way the national anthem sounded upon news that the Revolutionary War was won, because it was our day and no one else's, so we played it like your favorite song. We played it with the harmonies of Ike and Tina, minus the violence, but I dare anyone to step in our rhythm, because I still got that Ike like ass whooping brewing in case anyone steps on my girl's toes while she's dancing. We don't gotta worry if we don't have any money. So we're rolling on a river, darling. 'Cause you are my favorite song. It's like life. I can hear it. I'm in awe of every rhythm and cadence and lyric, causing the lyrics I see upon the sky to tumble and fall. So correct, I sometimes hit replay just to double check that you're standing by me. And it was a beautiful day. And I try to hold on to it. I remember running through the records backwards just to see if there were any subliminal messages you might have left me. I remember chasing down subway cars for you so I could pull off their graffiti tattoos like a new bouquet, because we were the songwriters in the band. We were a rolling stone away from anarchy, but we give each other shelter, and we love to keep it simple as the blues. And that day, we threw more love notes in the air than Jimmy ever could. It's why I get weird sometimes when I hear certain kinds of music, because you left. And I'm gonna remember that day that was ours and no one else's. And sometimes I'm going to want to hear yesterday. It's why I shake my head every time I hear a Perfect Circle play. And if anyone asks what that's all about, I just tell them that she's my favorite song. And she's why I press rewind sometimes. It was a bright day. I remember it pretty vividly, because it was hot. And I was walking through the park one day, but it was not in the very merry month of May, no. It was right before September. It was right before fall and winter, and I'm here, visiting. Killing time, really. Crossing a bridge over a river that streams through riverbank trees. I'm waiting here for her in Sewell Park's damp heat, and I showed up to make the earth move for her. To tell her our love's distance is proximity only, not emotionally. Whatever I've said, I've proved to her. But in my soul, I know. And just like these leaves will soon breathe that wicked autumn breeze, love in my life is going to leave and go on hiatus. And I hate this. That the joy I got when her name popped up on my cell is going to end, because those calls are going to stop. That there'll be no more staying up all night and seeing the sunrise, because her and I volleyed back and forth those no, you hang up first goodbyes. Or that the last dance my eyes will remember seeing is a salvia-sided vision of you moving through darkness, spinning and sparking stars and streaks, and still I showed up to make the earth move for her, to tell her our love's distance is proximity only, not emotionally, and whatever I've said, I've proved to her. But in my soul, I know that just like these leaves will soon breathe that wicked autumn breeze, love in my life is going to leave and go on hiatus. But darling, this is a moment that'll make us or break us. Because as I'm standing here patient, I'm taken back The said I love yous that now seem ancient. What appeared to be written in constellations, spoken by shamans, now feels as though fate is saying, no, my fault, I was mistaken. It's like God is looking on me. Walking Sewell Park's path slowly like he's gonna come down and approach me. He's gonna ask me, what are you waiting on? Only I'll tell him I showed up to make the earth move for her. To tell her our love's distance is proximity, only not emotionally. And whatever I've said, I've proved to her. And in my soul, I know that just like these leaves will soon breathe, that wicked autumn breeze, love in my life is going to leave and go on hiatus. And I hate this, that my tongue will forget the taste of the nape of her neck's flavor, and as soon as she walks away, I'll forget the smell of her soul's vapors. Maybe we are a different breed, and no matter the size of the stones we throw, we cannot bring down us if we act like the burdening beast. Maybe what we really want is written in different hieroglyphics, and it's not for lack of effort, but we don't understand what we read because you've been saying things like, you need time to get right by me, and maybe I don't hear you, but I don't know what the hell that means. Maybe I'm not patient enough, but argue that with Sewell Park's trees. Maybe these maybes and no baby, don't go babies are gonna save me, because maybe it has been me, but maybe it's been you, but I'm the one standing here looking like an asshole trying to make the earth move. And it moves for you. And I know that you felt it. On the long nights we would cry goodbye, and I would say, our love's distance is proximity only, and darling, I love you. But in my soul I know. I can see these leaves turning brown from green, and I can see love coming. But she's coming to leave. Thank you. So that's the story about her.
Do you have books for sale?
I actually have, these are my last 2 copies of my newest chapbook until I print out more. I will have these available for sale if y'all are interested. Come talk to me. It's 10, but you know what? 5 and a hug, we'll work it out. I just want to do this last one, and I'll be out of your hair. This is called Horchata Lattes with Allen Ginsberg. Far from either coast and at the bottom of the map, I wax and wane poetics at my local cafe. Engage with the bureaucracy of words, cryptic little words abounding with right or wrong, all or nothing every second when the poet Allen walks in and sits. Fat Jewish bodhisattva without eye contact, as if he and I were lifelong friends. He quickly reaches and peruses the menu. He asks me, what's good here? He, Ginsberg, I, like Corso, Burroughs, Kerouac, less traveled, but just as puro. He says there aren't any great cities left in America. Speaks softly but with clear authority. Says the mechanisms in man ate the heart. I say I recommend the horchata latte and the barbacoa grilled cheese sandwich. And what the hell did you mean by that last statement? He says most vegetarians are okay to eat fish because they don't have feelings like other animals. Says maybe we believe that because fish would need vocal cords underwater. Says this country is underwater and we are the fish. His voice quivers slightly, a quake in my landmass, and orders a barbacoa, grilled cheese, and horchata latte from a former Navy Americano barista named Gilbert. Upon service, Allen says this is a confusing dish. I say it's the most puro thing in this town. He says that word. I've heard it all day. Where does the word land in your world? I say it's like life. It translates to pure, but it's not that. Ginsberg asks, is it ever? I say, yeah. It's like getting what we're expecting, and it's exactly as we expected. Good or bad, that's puro. It will be the way it is regardless of its conditions. Take here, for instance. This city cannot forgive itself for its multitudes. It wishes to fit into better sweatshirts, but loves tacos too much. And for as much spirit that we derive from dancing, we get just as much from beer or drugs or coffee or bad sex, and why wouldn't we? Out there is a country where people step out each day on the wrong foot and hope. Here, we know what we're getting and we're satiated, but we don't leave the table because we have so much love. We aren't gassed up on our own chingon. In the hierarchy of blackbirds, Grackles come in third. In the hierarchy of sainted cities, we land behind San Fran and Diego, but check it. St. Anthony is the saint of lost or stolen things. Grackles fly everywhere here, and we find lost things like you. I found you in a coffee shop on Culebra that smells more like cooked meals than cafe. It's puro, like life. Far from either coast, a brilliant American kettled in a sweltering kitchen infused us with the rest of this country within a sandwich and a drink. It's who we are in all things. We are new and old, different and the same in puro, and when you vanish, I will remember this moment before I eventually vanish too, before sunset eternity drinks me. He sips the horchata latte and nods approvingly, pushes the sandwich towards me, says I'm vegetarian, but I think I get the gist. And what exactly is barbacoa? I say you don't want to know, but trust that it's delicious, and isn't that what we really want? Thank you all so much. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Rooster. I don't even know how the hell he did that. He read for like 10 minutes without stopping. Guys, we do have an open mic sheet. I believe a few people have signed up if you are interested. After our last feature here, we'll take like a little teeny tiny break and then come back and do the open mic section.
What?
Section. I'm not drinking. I don't even know what's going on. Sorry.
Any more coffee?
Yeah. Don't forget we're live streaming all this. We will share all this a lot with everybody. I'm very happy to introduce this next poet. I've been wanting to introduce him for years because I have all these things to say about him. So he's definitely a very hot poet. But Octavio Quintanilla has this poetry that is really dark, and I love it. I feel like I can relate to it. He has a book called If I Go Missing, which was published, I believe, by Slow Press in 2014. Phenomenal poetry. I believe he's also a Canto Mundo fellow. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Octavio's poetry can be found anywhere. I've Googled him at work. There's a billion links to all his poetry.
Are you jealous?
I'm not jealous. Maybe I have like a weird stalker
You're obsessed a little?
obsession thing.
It's called a man crush. It's a
Man crush. There you go. Man crush. So we're very happy that he's here tonight to read some poetry. Dr. Octavio Quintanilla. Please.
All right, cool. Need a mic in front of me.
We can put it there, but like,
Hey,
I
what's
think
up,
they'll
Paul?
shorten the wire.
That's cool. Hey, first of all, thanks, Victoria. Thank you, Vinny, for inviting me and inviting all of us here. I really appreciate this opportunity to read some of my new poems. And what I want to do is read some poems that came out recently in Arcadia. It's a literary journal, and it has about 18 pages of my poetry, new poems, and then I'll read some that are maybe they're brand new. So I'm gonna try them out on you. Let me. Oh, by the way, thank you for being here, all of you, Carolina, Rooster, Karen, who is Our Lady of the Lake student, and she writes some amazing poems. And there's an open mic. I don't know if you brought any.
No, I didn't have
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. I'm a big fan of Chris Martinez, aka Rooster, and I'm a big fan of Karen's work too. So, going to start with a poem called Loneliness. And it's a poem based on a memory of me living in Mexico. I was a kid, 6, 7 years old, climbing trees and putting my hands in the nests of birds to see what I would touch. Loneliness. As a boy, I would climb trees, reach into nests birds would leave unattended. I'll fill my hands with small eggs, and often 1 or 2 hatchlings would stare at me from behind the sprigs. There were times I wanted to take them home, keep them as my own, raise them. Imagined their beaks would one day open to call me Father. No, you don't have to do that.
We're in trance.
Take it in, the silence. Take it in. I forget who it was. I think it was the poet Jim Tolan who read at the Our Lady of the Lake, and the audience would applaud after each poem, and he said, just stop that. Just take in the silence, take in the poem, let it do something to your body. And I really, I felt that. I'm like, wow, okay. We didn't find what we looked for. She wanted a white dress, a ring, 2 babies, a house with an extra bedroom for her mother. In time, she gave up the white dress. Any color would do. Cake from Walmart till we had our fill. Pawn shop for the ring. Before long, she settled for a love that could survive no babies. And her mother, she could stay in her own house, drip old age on her garden flowers. The day came when we looked for something new, and I knew what she would look for, and that years would pass, and that there would be times I would think I'll see her lost in crowded streets, holding on to an arm, laughing, tossing back her hair as if with this she undid everything I had not done. But I would never know for sure of what I thought I saw. On days of mercy, I make myself believe I see her, truly see her, walking out a grocery store, cradling in her arms a bag full of meats and vegetables, face lit, watching 2 kids run after her. Am I depressing you already? If not, I think this is what's gonna do it. Oh, by the way, I've had some mixed drinks and some beers and shit. Bus stop. Your gums bleed and I want to tell you, but I'm embarrassed for you. So I keep the silence that struggles to hold on to itself in place. I didn't mean to make you feel safe, make you feel that you could trust me with all your secrets. I'm a stranger to you, and you to me. But what if this uncomfortable silence, this uncomfortable tenderness I feel because you tell me your life story? Your grandmother raised you. You had a wife once. She left you 4 months after the honeymoon. You had your own business and lost it because you got addicted to crack and because your wife left you. You also loved coke, but you prefer crack. But you loved your wife. She had a birthmark in the small of her back. There, right there, where the back turns into a deep meadow. It looked like a small bird, you explained. A bird ready to take flight. Your favorite spot to kiss. But the way you said it had nothing to do with sex. Your voice searched for the meadow again and quivered the moment you said bird for the third time. But you probably thought I had not noticed. So you talked to me like we had been friends for years. And all I could do was listen. Watch the words trail blood on your lips. That was a good call. Like you applauded right at the right moment. I read 2 poems, you applauded. That's good. This poem is called Gregor Samsa's Sister. Everybody knows Gregor Samsa, right? You know that guy who turns into a cockroach or a vermin. Kafka? The Metamorphoses, yeah. Does anybody remember her name? I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to have to Google it as I read the poem. So it's called Gregor Samsa's Sister. She's not a minor character, I would argue. To me, she's one of the most interesting characters in the book, or in the novella. Gregor Samsa's sister. I too forget her name. Your sister's. When I'm in bed and think of her, my wife next to me, reminding me, as she sometimes does, that she never knew her father. What was her name? Hard to remember anything after I see her ride a train somewhere my life had always wanted to go. It's how your story ends and how hers begins. A train, and she standing up at one point from her seat, stretching her young body. I imagine by this time it is no longer weighed down by duty. Her body, a symbol, I would argue, of what's left after grief bleeds out. I'm almost sure I misread the whole thing. Or maybe I don't remember as much as I think I do. But every time I think of your sister, extending her youth like a rolled up map for all to behold, I wish I could give the woman who sleeps next to me directions to a past where she can meet and where she can have the chance to meet the man she grieves for. And then to lie in bed for hours till the rain taps the window with its knuckles, wondering if there's someone in the world I fathered who's unaware of my existence. To discard this quiet like an earring on a stranger's windowsill. To let it be a gift to someone else. But the world rewards so pitifully. You and I are made of the same unhappy dreams, the same quiet that closes and opens all frontiers. Deep at night when I think of her, your sister, I want to ask my wife to hold me. Hold me, I want to say, until all my flesh burns off and all that's left is light. So I'm going to read a poem that I don't think I've read publicly. And it's, I've been writing a bunch of poems about my father, who passed away a year ago, last December, about a year ago, on the 28th. And I think this is the only poem I can read without me wanting to cry. It's called Poem Writing a Suicide Note. By the time you begin writing this poem, your father is dead. This time it's for real. Unlike that poem you wrote, in which you have him fall from a ladder, cracks his head, loses memory, but doesn't die. In another poem is a construction worker, South Texas sunlight hammer in his back, dies in the end. For you, it was all pretend. Most of your adult life, you've been like a 5-year-old, pretending patricide, documenting it in poems, all the while afraid to dirty your hands with true blood. Keep pretending to be 5 and offer your testicles to his inspection. How silly you feel in this memory. Such a tough guy now, knowing there was nothing shameful or perverse about it. Just a man making sure his son had the balls to rise against him if necessary. How much pretending must you do? How small are you in that mortgage you never finished paying? The student loans you drag to bed every night. How much longer will you pretend the world does everything right and all you do in the world is wrong? If you could only believe one last time that missing someone can be infinite, can outlive you. Pretend for your sake that maybe it does, that maybe it doesn't. How much time I got?
So what was yours, sir?
I'm gonna read 45 more minutes. No, I'll read one more poem in English, and then I want to finish off with a poem in Spanish for the audience who's listening to us. I think this is kind of like a love poem, but I'm not sure. It's called There Will Always Be a City. There will always be a city that will never belong to you. A place no one likes to walk, the moonlight on a beach. beware. Someone will always try to cut your legs so you can kneel and learn a new prayer. If you leave the city, it's because you know you're no longer in love. If you sleep, you wake to call the past by its old name. There's always a name, an utterance invisible to sound. Once you leave, you forget how to return. You'll find yourself in a small village where doors are left unlocked, where dogs chase chickens to their death, where men invite strangers to sleep with their wives. They too want to return to the cities they never wanted to abandon in the first place. On days the world ceases to astonish you and you think hard about leaving, you find yourself in an old love letter. Dear, and then you have nowhere to go, no one to call to see that you're still home. As promised, this is my last poem, but it's 20 pages long. And it has a glossary, I'm gonna read that too.
Is this gonna be on the test?
I was gonna read a political poem, but I'm not. I'm gonna read a poem that I've never read in public. It's in Spanish. It's called Mano Blanca, White Hand. And I don't know, it's just a poem. But you know what, there's something significant about this poem. And sometimes when I teach poetry, sometimes I tell my students, yeah, maybe, find something, or, maybe the poem ought to have something that is emotionally connected to you, so it can sound authentic, so it can sound, so it can have that resonance. And this poem, even though the poem has nothing to do with me, there's a moment in the poem that I remember when I was a kid in Mexico. And it's me and this kid, this rich kid, whose family owned most of the land around the town where we lived. They would grow oranges, right, trees. And I remember one time we were neighbors, and he said, "Hey, let's go to the orchard, the orange orchard, one of the orange orchards." And we went, and we got in a fight. But this poem has nothing to do with that. It has to do with being there in the mud, fighting this kid who I had to rely on to take me back home. So maybe you see that in the poem, I don't know. It's called Mano Blanca. En tus ojos encuentro una mano blanca, un insulto, desprecio hacia mis hermanos. Te encuentro de niña, mordiéndote las uñas, tu pelo en trenzas, un faro. Encuentro lloriqueos, instrucciones para hechizos, las arrugas de 1000 zapatos negros que nadie se puso. Allí tu madre, en una playa, el ombligo lleno de arena, pelo deslucido, su perfume con sabor a sal y sangre. Tus hermanos te pellizcan mientras duermes con las estrellas del mar. Ellos que aprendieron a coger con cabras y gallinas. That's kind of funny, right? Okay, not funny. Let me repeat that phrase. Ellos que aprendieron a coger con cabras y gallinas. Te encuentro quemándote las huellas digitales, practicando besos con tu reflejo, deseando dejar de ser, deseando. Yo también estoy allí, en tus ojos, perdido en un huerto de naranjos, tu mano blanca, 2 caricias, las botas enroladas. Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you very much, Octavio. We're going to have an open mic here in just a little bit, so we'll give each other a few minutes to get maybe some more coffee and hang out. Thank you very much to Carolina, Rooster, and Octavio for reading. We definitely, guys, hope you dug this. Next week, we're going to have Carmen Tafoya here, Jesse Cardona, Ellie Douglas. She was here a little bit ago, but she had to take off. And Jacinto Guevara is going to sing for us
He's
too.
coming out of retirement.
He's coming out of retirement to sing some obscure song from the 1800s. So we'll take a 5-minute break, guys. We'll be back. All right.